the food safety situation is on our minds, and we've got a bill in front of us, and we're very concerned about the overreach of the bill with regards to what its impacts may be and whether we really have a problem. Let me just ask the question this way. If do you see that has there been a problem in the past that this bill is going to solve, or are we just creating more levels of bureaucracy, more intrusion into your business? Is it going to have a real effect on the quality of food safety? And it's concerning to me from the standpoint that all of you are going to go out of business if you have a problem. So you have a vested interest in making sure you have something and you do it right to begin with. I don't know why you need any more oversight. Tell me where the problem is and if it's being addressed correctly.
I really don't see where we store apples for Gerber Foods, for baby food. We already had a trace back policy in place. If something isn't right with those apples, they don't get shipped. Apples, we've had very little problem. Only thing was a little bit of fresh cider a few years ago in an organic orchard. Apples have been very safe, even though they got some bad raps about specifically Alar, which the science never did come close to supporting the claims that were made. But, we worked very, very hard. When we packed apples, we sold to Kroger food stores. Now we're dealing with Nestle Foods. We deal with large places, and it's just another level of regulation by and large. There's a lot in that makes a lot of sense, but everything that's in that we're going through right now getting certified, it's going to cost us about $4,000 just in our small operation to get certified. Is things that we're already doing. We just don't write it down. That's basically the biggest thing. Testing the water, making sure your employees wash their hands. These are just common sense things that we do.
So basically what you're saying is that you already do a lot of these things already. It's going to be put in law, and you're forced to do this now.
And document that you do it. So now we have to have a food safety officer.
And quite frankly, it's probably why we've got the quality food we have, because you have these things already in place.
I think that we have the safest food in the world. To talk what Mark was talking about, when I go in my orchard, we've got some plums, some peaches that are ready now. I pick them off the tree, wipe them off on my sleeve, and eat them. If I go to the grocery store and buy that, I take it home and wash it because somebody else has handled it. I'd a whole lot rather eat it out of my orchard than out of a grocery store.
Absolutely.
I feel completely safe eating in my food out there. I know how we spray it. I don't take it home and wash it. I gave it to my 3-year-old granddaughter the other day. If you ever saw anything any better, she was eating plums and the juice was running down the side of her face, and she looks at Kenny, I like plums. And you know that I'm not going to give somebody that precious something that's going to hurt them. I am absolutely going to make sure it is as close to perfect as we possibly can. And the vast majority of the farmers in the United States have exactly that. Well, all farmers, I think, have exactly that same feeling. A lot of times where this stuff has come through is being like the peanuts was after it was into the farmer. Or in a lot of times in the meat, it's in the processing plant, not what the farmer sent to them. And farmer gets a lot of bad rap, and you were talking about being the head of the community. The perception I see in our county right now is the little old man and the little old lady in the picture with him holding the pitchfork. That's the way a farmer's supposed to be in Western North Carolina right now. They're supposed to be dirt poor. They should not be able to have ever made any money.
Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ranking Member Luetkemeyer. I would say that food safety is really market driven. From the standpoint of us as a shipper and repacker for smaller farmers, we are meeting the demands of our customer base, largely the retail chain stores. Just as someone might meet the demands of a local farmer's market. There are going to be requirements, expectations of the consumer that is going to drive the market in a direction. So I don't think that the government necessarily needs to try to do that and try to get involved. That will take care of itself. I think that where government can actually be of benefit in 2 areas. One is standardization. For instance, we have multiple metrics out there that may be required. One chain store may require this one. We go through Primus Labs. There are others. There's Eurogap, Gap. I mean, the list goes on and on and on about the matrix. We could be required by one store to have this set and by another store to have this set. So when you get duplication there, that in itself can create problems. So some standardization, would be of great benefit to the industry. Another thing that food safety does, and being able to document the process in which you've grown and processed fruit, it's beneficial whenever you do have scares to be able to basically show your innocence, that there is not a trace back to your farm or to your facility. And so that can be very beneficial, but the biggest thing still that concerns me is the way that that's done in terms of recalls and not being science-based, because that is just hugely devastating to an industry. We've seen it time and time again. We go back to in the 80s, apples with Alar. We've seen the recent tomato deal. And we can go on and on and on and on. And generally speaking, whenever we have those recalls, it's not been very science-based. Yes, people have gotten sick, and there have been reasons. More often than not, it comes from imported product, not domestically grown product. And just need to be very cautious in that area. And I think the government can help by exercising some science-based data whenever those happen.
We'll indulge the chairman here for how long we go with this. I don't know how long you want to allow the comments to continue. Mr. Hudgens, okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to echo some of Mr. Barnwell's comments. As I speak right now, some of our California peaches are on their way to Gerber. And obviously we have a very great awareness of the importance of food safety for product that's going into baby food use. I can also say that there has never been a single documented case of a foodborne illness that has been attributed back to a canned fruit item in this country. So we look at the food safety legislation that is under consideration today and say that it certainly represents an improvement over where the discussion started. But clearly NCFC would have a concern with regard to facility fees, which essentially would be a tax on our member producers with, again, very limited ability to pass along those costs in the marketplace. I'd also echo Mr. Williams' comment that in our world, in the peach industry, what we have seen is a dramatic increase in the imported product entering this country, and would hope that the same scrutiny and the same level of certification would go into verifying the safety of those products, because in the end, if there is a problem with a consumer, no one's going to read the fine print to say, where did that product come from? It's going to be, there was a food safety problem relative to a canned peach, and no one will look at where that product originated from.
Very good. Thank you.